What if I told you there was a user's manual for the human experience, a step-by-step guide to figuring out who you really are, written thousands of years ago? Well, today we're unpacking one of the most incredible of these guides, the Taittiriya Upanishad.
It's the biggest question there is, isn't it? Seriously. Take away your name, your job, your relationships, your body. Who is the you that's left? We go through our entire lives being ourselves, but how often do we actually stop and investigate what that self is?
You know, thousands of years ago, ancient sages were obsessed with this very question. And in this one text, the Taittiriya Upanishad, they laid out this stunningly clear and methodical roadmap to finding the answer. And this isn't just some dusty, abstract philosophy. Think of it as a practical guide to your own inner world.
So how does it work? Well, the Upanishad structures this entire journey of self-discovery into 3 distinct parts, or volleys. It's kind of like a 3-act play, and each act takes us deeper and deeper into the mystery of who we are. First up, you have the Shiksha volley, which is all about getting ready, the basic training. Then we dive into the Brahmananda volley, which is the philosophical heart of the text. This is where we get the actual map to the self. And finally, there's the Brigu volley, which is like a case study, someone actually testing the map to prove it works. So let's start at the beginning with the training. Right, so before you go exploring inner space, you have to prepare the vessel. This first chapter, the Shiksha volley, isn't about a bunch of rigid rules. It's much more like an astronaut's training program, you know? It's designed to get the seeker ethically and mentally ready for the incredible journey ahead. And get this timeless advice is actually part of a convocation address, basically a graduation speech given to students. The message is just so powerful. Your education is never ever finished. Things like integrity, doing the right thing, and committing to always learning about yourself, these are the absolute bedrock for any kind of deeper spiritual work.
But the training isn't just about you. It's about grounding you in your community, in your relationships. The idea is that before you can go looking for the divine deep inside yourself, you first have to practice seeing it in the people right in front of you, in your mother, your father, your teacher, and even in a stranger who comes to your door. This creates a stable, respectful foundation to launch your inner journey from. Okay, so once that foundation is set, the Upanishad unveils its core teaching, and this is the really juicy stuff. The Panchakosha, or the 5 sheaths. This is the map of our inner world, a guide to 5 distinct layers of identity that cover our true self, with each one nested inside the other. The best way to picture these 5 sheaths is to think of a set of Russian nesting dolls. You start with the most obvious, outermost layer, our physical body, and as you open each doll, you move to a subtler and more essential layer of who you are. Each one feels like me, but none of them by themselves tell the whole story. So that biggest, outermost doll is the Anmaya Kosha, literally the sheath made of food. This is our physical body, our bones, muscles, skin, the whole thing. It's the most concrete part of us, the one we identify with most easily. But as the Upanishad points out, it's completely made of and dependent on the outside world. So what's the real difference between a living body and a corpse? It's this next layer in, the Pranamaya Kosha, the energy sheath. This is the life force, the breath, the animation that makes the physical body, well, alive. It's much more subtle than the body, but without it, the body is just inert matter. Go one level deeper, and we find the Manomaya Kosha, the mental sheath. Now this is the busy, noisy, often chaotic layer of our 5 senses, our emotions, our memories, our desires. It's the part of us that's constantly processing the world, generating our likes and dislikes, and just thinking all the time. But beyond that reactive mind is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellectual sheath. This is the CEO of the operation. It's the part of you that can observe the emotional mind and say, okay, I see you're angry, but we're not going to act on that. It's our faculty of reason, our ability to make decisions. It's what gives us that sense of agency, the feeling that I am the doer. And then, at last, we arrive at the innermost doll, right before the core self. This is the Ananda Maya Kosha, the sheath of bliss. Now, this isn't the kind of happiness you get from a good meal or a promotion. It's a deep underlying layer of profound peace and joy.
The text says we touch this place in moments of deep, dreamless sleep, when all the other, noisier layers have gone quiet.
So, if our deepest nature is bliss, just how blissful are we talking about? Well, get ready for this, because this is where Upanishad does something absolutely wild. It actually tries to quantify the unquantifiable. It creates what you could call a calculus of bliss to give us a sense of the sheer scale of happiness we're dealing with.
To do this, it has to start with a baseline, right? So it defines one single unit of human happiness. But listen to this definition. It's the absolute maximum joy possible for a perfect human being. Someone who is young, strong, noble, healthy, highly educated, and who has all the wealth in the entire world. Imagine that peak human experience. That is one unit.
Okay, so starting with that one perfect unit, the text just starts multiplying. The joy of the next higher order of being is 100 times greater, and the joy of the beings above them is 100 times that. It keeps multiplying by 100, level after level, through all these different cosmic beings until you get to the Creator God, whose bliss is a number so vast it's practically unimaginable. But here comes the most profound twist in the entire text. It is an absolute game changer. At every single level of this cosmic ladder of joy, after describing this unimaginable bliss, the Upanishad adds this one line. This same monumental bliss is also experienced by a human sage who is free from desire.
So what does this mean? The text is giving us a formula for happiness. If you think of happiness as a fraction, desires fulfilled divided by desires you have, you see the secret. You can spend your whole life trying to increase the number on top, chasing more and more fulfillment. Or you can work on the number on the bottom. As the number of desires you have approaches zero, your happiness approaches infinity. Bliss is democratized. It's available to anyone.
Now, this all sounds like a fantastic theory, right? But how could anyone actually prove it? Well, the third and final chapter of the Upanishad is all about that. It gives us a case study, the story of a young sage named Bhrigu, who decides to test this map for himself.
So Bhrigu goes to his father and asks to be taught the ultimate truth. But his father doesn't just give him the answer. He says, go find it yourself through intense contemplation. So Bhrigu does, using what is basically the scientific method. He starts with the hypothesis that the physical body is everything. He meditates on it, finds its limits, and realizes it's incomplete. So he goes deeper, testing energy, then the mind, then the intellect, systematically peeling back each layer of the nesting doll until he finally arrives at the unshakable conclusion. Bliss is the source of everything.
So, an ancient map, 5 layers of the self, a formula for bliss. Why should we care about any of this in our crazy modern world? Because its insights are not just relevant, they are desperately needed. This is more than a spiritual text. It's a blueprint for a more sane and meaningful way to live.
I mean, just think about it. It offers a model for education that values ethics just as much as information. It provides a psychological map that sees our core self not as something broken that needs to be fixed, but as a source of infinite joy. And its calculus of bliss is probably the most powerful critique of consumer culture ever written, proving that real, lasting happiness can only ever be an inside job.
And so the Upanishads ends with the ecstatic, joyful shout of the person who's made the journey. After peeling back all the layers, the sage realizes there's no separation. The observer and the observed, the eater and the food are one and the same. It's a beautifully strange and profound statement that leaves us with one final, lingering thought. What if we aren't just a tiny piece of the universe? What if we are the whole cosmic feast itself?